Jake Peterson stood at the window of the research ship, looking out at the stars. He had been a scientist for 8 years, but space still amazed him. The USS Horizon was far from Earth, exploring new worlds and looking for signs of alien life. Jake, "Come to the bridge," Captain Lisa Brooks called over the radio. "We found something." Jake ran through the ship's hallways, his heart beat fast with excitement. The bridge was full of people looking at screens and talking in worried voices. "What is it?" Jake asked. "A ship," said Dr. Alex Carter, his best friend. "It's not human." Jake looked at the main screen. A beautiful silver ship floated in space near them. It was smooth and curved, unlike the square human ships. Strange blue lights moved across its surface like water. "They sent us a message, Captain Tew," Brooks said. "They want to talk." Jake's job was to talk to aliens if they ever found any. He had studied many languages and cultures. But this was real. This was happening. "What did they say?" Jake asked. "They speak our language somehow," the captain said. "They want to meet in person." An hour later, Jake stood in the ship's meeting room. His hands shook a little. The other officers stood behind him. The room's lights were dim and soft to make the aliens feel welcome. The door opened, and she walked in. Jake had imagined what aliens might look like. He thought they would be very different from humans. But the woman who entered looked almost human. She was tall and thin, with blue skin that seemed to glow softly. Her hair was silver and moved like it was underwater. Her eyes were large and bright purple. "Hello," she said. Her voice was musical and calm. "I am Zara Thess of the Velnari Collective." "I'm Jake Peterson," he said, trying to sound professional. "Welcome to our ship." Zara Thess smiled. It was a real smile, warm and friendly. "You are younger than I expected," she said. "Your species is quite new to space travel." "We've been traveling in space for over 200 years, Jake said. "That is very new," Zara Thess laughed. "My people have been among the stars for 50,000 of your years." Jake felt small and young, but Zara Thess didn't seem to look down on him. She seemed curious about humans. "Why did you come here?" Jake asked. "We watch young species," she said. "We make sure they don't hurt themselves or others. Your people are interesting." "Interesting how?" Zara Thess walked around the room, looking at the human decorations on the walls. "You make art," she said, touching a painting. "You create beauty for no practical reason. This is unusual." "Don't your people make art?" Jake asked. "We make things that are useful," she said. "But you make things just because they are beautiful. Why?" Jake thought about how to explain. "Beauty makes us happy. It gives meaning to our lives." "Meaning?" Zara Thess repeated the word like she was tasting it. "Your species thinks about meaning often." They talked for 2 more hours. Jake told her about human culture, about families and friends and love. Zara Thess listened carefully to everything. She asked many questions about emotions and why humans felt so strongly about things. "Your people seem to care deeply about each other," she said. "Yes," Jake said. "Love is very important to us." "Love," she said. "You use this word often." "What does it mean exactly?" Jake struggled to find the right words. "Love is when you care about someone more than yourself. When their happiness matters more than your own happiness." Zara Thess looked confused. "But that is not logical. How can another person's needs be more important than your survival?" "It doesn't make logical sense," Jake admitted. "But it makes us human." As the meeting was ending, Zarathes stood up. She had a playful look in her purple eyes. "I have observed your customs," she said. "I understand that humans often form pair bonds through a ritual called marriage." "That's right," Jake said, wondering where this was going. "Jake Peterson," Zarathes said with a mischievous smile, "will you marry me?" The room went silent. Jake's mouth opened, but no words came out. Captain Brooks and Dr. Carter stared in shock. But then Jake saw something in Zarathes's eyes. She expected him to laugh. She thought this was a joke, something amusing about human customs. Instead, Jake stepped closer to her. "Zarathes," he said softly, "marriage isn't just a custom for us. It's a promise. When humans marry, we promise to love each other for our whole lives. We promise to take care of each other when we're sick, to support each other's dreams, to stay together even when things are hard." Zarathes's smile faded. She listened intently. "Marriage means sharing everything," Jake continued. "Your fears, your hopes, your future. It means becoming part of someone else's life completely. It's the deepest form of love we know." For a long moment, Zarathes said nothing. Her purple eyes studied Jake's face as if she was trying to understand something completely new. I did not know," she said quietly. "I thought it was just a social contract." "For us, it's a promise of the heart," Jake said. Zarathes looked troubled, like someone who had discovered something that changed everything they thought they knew. "I must return to my ship," she said. "We will talk again soon." After she left, Jake stood alone in the meeting room. His heart was beating fast, and he didn't know why. Something had changed in that moment when he explained marriage to her. Something important. Captain Brooks put her hand on his shoulder. "What just happened here?" she asked. Jake looked out the window at the alien ship. "I'm not sure," he said, "but I think everything just got more complicated." 3 days passed before Jake saw Zarathes again. During that time, both ships stayed close to each other near a small planet. The planet had ruins on it, very old buildings that neither humans nor Velnari had built. "Jake, you're going down. To the planet with the alien team," Captain Brooks told him. "They want to study the ruins together." Jake felt nervous and excited. He had thought about Zarathes every day since their first meeting. Something about her made him want to know more. The shuttle trip to the planet was quiet. Jake sat with Dr. Susan Walsh, a scientist who studied different cultures. Across from them sat Zarathes and another Velnari named Commander Veltar. Commander Veltar was older than Zarathes and did not seem to like humans. He spoke only when necessary and watched Jake with suspicious eyes. "The ruins are 10,000 years old," Zarathes told Jake as they flew down. "We don't know who built them." "Maybe we can figure it out together," Jake said. Commander Veltar made a sound like a snort. "Humans are too young to understand ancient mysteries," he said. Jake felt his face get hot with anger, but Zarathes gave him a warning look. She was right. Getting angry would not help. The ruins were amazing. Tall stone towers reached toward the sky, covered in symbols that neither species could read. Gardens that had once been beautiful were now filled with strange plants. "We should split into teams," Dr. Walsh suggested. "Cover more ground." "Good idea," Commander Veltar said quickly. "Zarathes, you work with the humans. I will examine the central building." Jake could tell that Commander Veltar wanted to get away from them. That was fine with Jake. For the next few hours, Jake and Zarathis explored the ruins together. Dr. Walsh took pictures and notes while they talked. "Your people built cities like this on Earth," Zarathis said, looking at a broken statue. "How do you know about Earth cities?" Jake asked. "We have watched your world for centuries," she said. "We were curious about a species that built beautiful things even when they were struggling to survive. They found a room with walls covered in paintings. The pictures showed beings that looked like neither humans nor Velnari. These ancient people had 4 arms and large eyes." "They look happy," Zarathis said, studying a painting of the 4-armed beings dancing. "You sound surprised," Jake said. "My people value efficiency and logic," she explained. "We don't understand why beings would spend time on activities that don't help them survive." Jake pulled out his tablet and showed her pictures from Earth. "This is human music," he said, playing a soft song. "This is poetry. This is a painting my sister made." Zarathis listened to the music with her eyes closed. "It makes me feel strange," she said. "Like something is moving inside my chest." "That's emotion," Jake said gently. "The music makes you feel something. Velnari don't feel things like this," she said, but she didn't stop listening. Over the following days, Jake and Zarathis worked together every day. Jake brought different kinds of human art to show her: music, paintings, stories, and poems. Zarathis seemed hungry to understand these things. "Why do humans write sad songs?" she asked one evening as they sat by their camp. "Because sadness is part of life," Jake said. "When we express our sadness in art, it helps us feel better." "That makes no sense," she said. "If something makes you sad, you should fix the problem or ignore it." "But you can't always fix everything," Jake said. "Sometimes people die or leave, or dreams don't come true. Music and art help us deal with those feelings." Zarathis was quiet for a long time. "My people live for 800 years, she said finally. "We rarely form close attachments because we know everyone will die eventually. It seems more logical to avoid the pain." "But then you miss all the joy, too," Jake said. On the 5th day, they made an important discovery. In the deepest part of the ruins, they found a room with a strange machine. It was made of crystal and metal, and it hummed with energy. "It's some kind of computer," Dr. Walsh said, running her scanner over it. "Commander Veltar tried to activate it using Velnari technology, but nothing happened. The machine stayed silent." "Let me try," Jake said. "You?" Commander Veltar laughed. "Your technology is primitive compared to ours." But Jake didn't use technology. Instead, he put his hand on the crystal and thought about everything he had learned about the ruins. He thought about the happy paintings on the walls, about the beings who had lived here and loved and created beautiful things. The machine suddenly came to life. Lights filled the crystal, and holographic images appeared in the air. The images showed the 4-armed people who had built this place. They were artists and scientists, beings who valued both logic and emotion. "How did you do that, Commander?" Veltar demanded. "I think the machine responds to feelings, not just thoughts," Jake said. Zarathis stared at the holographic images. The ancient people in the pictures lived together in harmony, creating amazing art and advancing science at the same time. "They were like us," she whispered, "but also like you." The machine showed more images. It told the story of the ancient civilization, how they had grown strong by combining logic with emotion, science with art. They had explored the galaxy and made friends with many species before disappearing long ago. They were trying to tell future generations something, Dr. Walsh said. A message about how to live. That night, as they prepared to return to their ships, Zarathus walked with Jake away from the others. "I have been thinking about what you said," she told him. "About marriage, about love, about making art just because it's beautiful." "And what do you think?" Jake asked. "I think my people have forgotten something important," she said. "We have become so focused on surviving that we forgot how to live." Jake felt something flutter in his chest. "Maybe that's why we met," he said. "To learn from each other." Zarathus stopped walking and turned to face him. In the light of the planet's 2 moons, her blue skin seemed to glow. "Jake Peterson," she said, "I would like to understand more about human emotions. Will you teach me?" "Yes," Jake said without hesitation, "but only if you teach me about Velnari wisdom." They shook hands, but the touch lingered longer than necessary. Jake felt electricity run up his arm, and he saw something new in Zarathus's purple eyes, something that looked almost like the beginning of human emotion. As they flew back to their ships, Jake realized that everything was changing. The discovery of the ancient civilization was important, but something else was happening too. Something between him and Zarathus that neither of them fully understood yet. Commander Veltar watched them both with worried eyes, as if he could see the change happening and didn't like it at all. Jake was sleeping when the alarm started screaming through the USS Horizon. He jumped out of bed and ran to the bridge, still wearing his pajamas. "What's happening?" he asked Captain Brooks. "The ancient machine sent out a signal," she said, her face pale with worry. "Something heard it and is coming this way." Dr. Alex Carter pointed at the main screen. "Look at this." The screen showed space around their ships, but now there were dozens of dark objects moving toward them. They were not ships exactly. They looked like giant metal insects with glowing red eyes. "What are they?" Jake asked. "We call them the Zarathi Swarm," said a new voice behind him. Jake turned around. Zarathus had come aboard the human ship. Her usually calm face looked frightened. "You know these things?" Captain Brooks asked. "Everyone in the galaxy knows them," Zarathus said. "They destroy all living things. They turn planets into metal and machines." "How many are there?" Dr. Carter asked. "Too many," Zarathus said quietly. "My commander is preparing our ship to leave. We must run away now before they arrive." "Run away?" Jake felt angry. "We just found the ruins. We're learning important things." "The ruins will not matter if we are all dead," Zarathus said. "The Zarathi do not negotiate. They only destroy." Captain Brooks was already giving orders to her crew. "Prepare the ship for fast travel," she said. "We're leaving in 10 minutes." But Jake grabbed her arm. "Wait," he said. "What if we fought them instead?" Everyone on the bridge stopped and stared at him. Captain Brooks looked like he had said something crazy. "Fight them?" she said. "Jake, there are 50 of those things coming our way." "But we have 2 ships now," Jake said. "Human technology and Velnari technology working together." "It would not work," Zarathus said sadly. "My people have tried to fight the Zarathi before. We always lose. The only smart thing to do is run away." "Running away is smart," Jake agreed. "But some things are worth fighting for." Zarathus looked confused. What could be worth dying for? Jake thought about the ancient ruins, about the 4-armed people who had created beautiful art and amazing science. "Knowledge," he said. discovery, the chance to learn something that could help everyone. You would risk your life for knowledge? She asked. Wouldn't you? For a moment, Zarathus didn't answer. Jake could see her thinking, fighting with herself. My people value survival above all else, she said finally. It has kept us alive for 50,000 years. But what's the point of staying alive if you never do anything meaningful? Jake asked. More alarms started ringing. The Zarathi were getting closer. I have to go back to my ship, Zarathus said. We are leaving now. Jake watched her walk away. His heart felt heavy. He understood why the Velnari wanted to run. It was the smart thing to do, but it still felt wrong. Jake, Captain Brooks said gently, we have to go too. But before Jake could answer, Admiral Kane Roberts appeared on the main screen. He was the commander of a human battle fleet. USS Horizon, this is Admiral Roberts, he said. We received your emergency signal. We're coming to help. Admiral, the Velnari say these enemies are too strong, Captain Brooks said. Maybe, Admiral Roberts said, but humans don't run from fights when something important is at stake. Jake felt hope growing in his chest. How long until you get here? 2 hours, the Admiral said. Can you hold out that long? Jake looked at the screen showing the approaching Zarathi. They would arrive in 30 minutes. We'll try, Captain Brooks said. Jake made a decision. He ran to the communication room and sent a message to Zarathus's ship. Zarathus, this is Jake. Please listen to me. We're going to stay and fight. Not because it's logical, but because it's right. The ruins contain knowledge that could help everyone in the galaxy. If we run away, the Zarathi will destroy it all. For a long time, there was no answer. Then Zarathus's voice came through the radio. Jake, you are asking us to die for an idea. I'm asking you to live for an idea, Jake said. Your people have survived for 50,000 years. That's amazing. But when was the last time you did something that made survival worth it? Another long silence. Then Commander Veltar's voice came on the radio. Human ship, we are leaving. This conversation is over, Jake's heart sank. The Velnari ship started to move away. But then something unexpected happened. A smaller ship separated from the main Velnari vessel. It was Zarathus's personal fighter. Zarathus to USS Horizon, her voice said. I am staying to fight with you. Zarathus, return to the main ship immediately, Commander Veltar's angry voice commanded. No, she said simply. Jake is right. Some things are worth fighting for. The Zarathi arrived like a storm of metal and death. They moved fast and attacked without warning. The USS Horizon and Zarathus's small fighter faced 50 enemy ships. The battle was terrible. The human ship had strong weapons but was slow. Zarathus's fighter was fast but lightly armed. The Zarathi seemed to be everywhere at once. We can't hold them off much longer, Captain Brooks shouted over the noise of explosions. Jake watched the battle from the bridge. He saw Zarathus's fighter dancing between the enemy ships, moving like water around rocks. She was an amazing pilot. Then he saw something that made his blood freeze. 3 Zarathi ships were surrounding Zarathus. She was trapped. Captain, we have to help her, Jake said. We're too far away, Captain Brooks said. Without thinking, Jake ran to the shuttle bay. He jumped into a small human fighter and launched before anyone could stop him. Jake was not a pilot. He had basic training, but nothing like Zarathus's skill. But he didn't care. He flew straight at the Zarathi ships that were attacking her. Jake, what are you doing? Zarathus's voice came over his radio. Saving you, he said, firing his weapons at the nearest enemy ship. His attack surprised the Zarathi. They turned away from Zarathes to focus on him, but Jake's fighter was hit almost immediately. Alarms filled his cockpit as his ship started to break apart. "Jake!" Zarathes screamed. Jake's fighter was spinning out of control. He was going to die. But he had saved Zarathes, and that made it worth it. Then Admiral Roberts arrived with the human fleet. Dozens of ships appeared and attacked the Zarathi from all sides. The enemy was caught off guard and started to retreat. Zarathes caught Jake's damaged fighter with her ship's tractor beam and pulled him to safety. Later, as the last Zarathi ships fled, Jake and Zarathes sat in the medical bay of the USS Horizon. Jake had a broken arm and cuts on his face, but he was alive. "Why did you do that?" Zarathes asked him. "You could have died." "Because I care about you," Jake said simply. "More than I care about my own safety." Zarathes stared at him for a long time. "This is what you meant by love," she said finally. "This willingness to sacrifice for another person." "Yes," Jake said. "I felt it too," she whispered. "When I saw you in danger, I felt something I had never felt before, like my heart was breaking." Jake reached out and took her hand. Her blue skin was warm and soft. "What happens now?" she asked. "I don't know," Jake said. "But I know we'll figure it out together." Outside the medical bay, Captain Brooks smiled as she watched them through the window. Something beautiful was happening. Something that might change both their species forever. 2 weeks after the battle, Jake was finally feeling better. His broken arm was healing, and the cuts on his face had become small scars. But something else had changed, too. Every day, he spent time with Zarathes, and every day, his feelings for her grew stronger. The two ships were still together, studying the ancient ruins. But now there was tension between the humans and Velnari. Commander Veltar was angry that Zarathes had stayed to fight. He sent messages to his leaders saying that humans were a bad influence on his people. "The Velnari Council is meeting," Zarathes told Jake as they walked through the USS Horizon's gardens. "They want to decide whether to continue working with humans or to leave." "What do you think they'll decide?" Jake asked. "I don't know," she said. "My people are afraid of change. They think emotions make us weak." Jake stopped walking and turned to face her. "Do you think emotions make you weak?" Zarathes thought for a moment. 2 weeks ago, I would have said yes. But when I saw you in danger during the battle, I felt something powerful. It made me fight harder than I ever had before. That doesn't seem weak." Dr. Maya Chen, a human psychologist, had been studying the growing relationship between the two species. She approached them in the garden. "Excuse me," she said. "I've been watching how your peoples interact. I think there's something important happening here." "What do you mean?" Zarathes asked. "Humans and Velnari complement each other," Dr. Chen explained. "Humans are creative and emotional, but sometimes make poor long-term decisions. Velnari are logical and wise, but sometimes miss important opportunities because they're too careful." Jake nodded. "Like the ancient people in the ruins. They combined both approaches." "Exactly," Dr. Chen said. "Together, your species could accomplish amazing things." But that evening, bad news arrived. Kethval, Zarathes's brother, came to the human ship with an angry message. "Sister, you have disgraced our family," he said. "The council has decided. If you continue this attachment to humans, you will be exiled from our people forever." Jake felt his heart sink. He had been afraid this would happen. "They can't do that," he said. "Zarathes is one of the best people I've ever met." Cathaval looked at Jake with cold eyes. "You humans claim to feel love, but it is just chemicals in your brain. There is no logic to it, no purpose. You would destroy my sister's life for temporary pleasure." "That's not true," Jake said, getting angry. "Love isn't temporary pleasure. It's commitment. It's choosing to care about someone every day, even when it's difficult." "Prove it," Cathaval said. "Show me that your emotions are more than just animal instincts." Jake was about to argue, but then he stopped. Arguments wouldn't convince Cathaval. Only actions would. Over the next 3 days, Jake did something that surprised everyone. He didn't try to spend time with Zarathes. Instead, he helped injured Velnari who had been hurt in the battle. He shared human medical supplies with them. He brought food to Velnari who were working long hours. When a young Velnari engineer was homesick, Jake sat with him and listened to his problems. When an older Velnari scientist was struggling with human technology, Jake patiently taught him how to use it. "Why are you helping them?" Dr. Carter asked. "Some of these people want to separate you from Zarathes." "Because it's the right thing to do," Jake said. "If love only makes me care about one person, then it's selfish. Real love should make me want to help everyone." Cathaval watched Jake carefully during those 3 days. He saw Jake give his own food to hungry Velnari. He saw Jake work late into the night to help fix damaged Velnari equipment. He saw Jake treat every Velnari with kindness and respect, even those who were hostile to him. On the 4th day, Cathaval approached Jake. "I have been observing you," he said. "Your actions do not match what I expected from an emotional being." "What did you expect?" Jake asked. "Selfishness, irrationality, weakness." Cathaval paused. "Instead, I see someone who puts others' needs before his own, someone who works hard for no personal gain, someone who shows patience and kindness even to his enemies." "That's what love teaches us," Jake said. "When you truly care about someone, you start caring about everyone they care about too. You want to make the world better for them." That evening, Jake made a decision. He found Zarathes in her ship's observation deck, looking out at the stars. "I need to tell you something," he said. She turned to face him. Her purple eyes looked sad. "If being with me means losing your family and your people, then maybe we should—" "No," Jake interrupted. "That's not what I was going to say." He knelt down on one knee, the way humans did for proposals. Zarathes's eyes widened. "Zarathes," Jake said, 2 weeks ago, you asked me to marry you as a joke. You didn't understand what marriage meant. To humans. But now I think you do." "Jake, what are you doing?" "I'm asking you to marry me," he said. "Not because of politics or diplomacy or logic. I'm asking because I love you, because you make me want to be a better person. Because when I imagine my future, I can't imagine it without you." Tears started, flowing down Zarathes's blue cheeks. Jake had never seen a Velnari cry before. "I don't know if this will work," she said. "Our peoples are so different." "I know," Jake said. "It might be difficult. People from both sides might oppose us. But I want to try. Not because I have to, but because I choose to. Every day for the rest of my life, I want to choose you. What if my people exile me? Then we'll build a new life together. What if your people accept us? Then we'll help bridge our two species." Jake reached into his pocket and pulled out a ring. It was simple, made from metal found in the ancient ruins. This isn't about duty or obligation. This is about love. This is about choosing to share our lives, our dreams, our future together. Zarathos looked at the ring, then at Jake's face. You would give up everything for me? I'm not giving up anything, Jake said. I'm gaining everything that matters. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled, the most beautiful smile Jake had ever seen. Yes, she said. Yes, I will marry you. As Jake placed the ring on her finger, Kethval appeared in the doorway. He had been watching the whole time. Sister, he said softly. I was wrong about humans. This Jake Peterson has shown me something I did not think possible. What's that? Zarathos asked. That emotions can make someone stronger, not weaker. That love can make someone more generous, not more selfish. He looked at Jake with new respect. I will speak to the council on your behalf. Later, as Jake and Zarathos sat together holding hands, she asked him a question. Are you afraid of what comes next? Terrified, Jake admitted, but also excited. We're about to do something that's never been done before. A marriage between two different species. More than that, Jake said. We're going to show both our peoples that different doesn't have to mean enemies, that we can learn from each other and become stronger together. Zarathos squeezed his hand. I love you, Jake Peterson. I love you too, Zarathos. Outside, the ship, the stars shone down on two beings who had found something worth fighting for, each other, and the hope of a better future for everyone. The wedding was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. Jake and Zarathos had decided to hold the ceremony on the planet with the ancient ruins, in the same place where they had first worked together. President Helen Morrison had come from Earth to represent humanity. High Matriarch Isloven had traveled from the Velnari homeworld to represent her people. Both leaders were curious about this strange union between their species. Are you sure about this? President Morrison asked. Jake, the morning of the wedding. This marriage will affect relations between our peoples for generations. I'm sure, Jake said, adjusting his formal clothes. He wore a mix of human and Velnari styles, a black suit with silver patterns that glowed softly, like Velnari ceremonial robes. In another room, Zarathos was preparing with her attendants. Dr. Maya Chen and Dr. Susan Walsh had helped her design a wedding dress that honored both cultures. It was white like human tradition, but made of a fabric that changed color with her emotions, like Velnari custom. I'm nervous, Zarathos admitted to the human women. What if this doesn't work? What if we're too different? All couples are different, Dr. Chen said gently. The question isn't whether you're different. The question is whether you're willing to work through those differences together. The ceremony took place in the ruins' main courtyard, surrounded by the ancient art that had first brought Jake and Zarathos together. Chairs were arranged for guests from both species. Humans sat next to Velnari, talking and trying to understand each other. Captain Brooks performed the ceremony, as was her right as ship commander. She had studied both human and Velnari marriage traditions to create something new. We gather today, Captain Brooks began, to witness something that has never happened before. Two beings from different worlds, different species, choosing to unite their lives in love. Jake stood at the altar, his heart beating fast. When the music started playing, a piece composed by both human and Velnari musicians, he saw Zarathos walking toward him. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Her dress shimmered with colors that showed her joy and nervousness and love all at once. Her silver hair was decorated with flowers from both Earth and the Velnari homeworld. When she reached him, Jake took her hands. They were warm and soft and exactly where they belonged. "Jake Peterson," Captain Brooks said, "do you take Zarathus as your wife, promising to love her, support her, and share your life with her through all the joys and challenges that may come?" "I do," Jake said, looking into Zarathus's purple eyes. "I promise to love you, not because it's easy, but because you're worth it. I promise to learn from you and teach you, to grow with you and dream with you. I choose you today and every day for the rest of my life." "Zarathus," Captain Brooks continued, "do you take Jake Peterson as your husband, promising to love him, support him, and share your life with him through all the joys and challenges that may come?" "I do," Zarathus said, her voice strong and clear. "I promise to love you with both logic and emotion. I promise to be your partner in all things, to face the universe together as one. You have taught me that the heart can be as wise as the mind." Then came the part that made this ceremony special. Instead of just exchanging rings, Jake and Zarathus had written vows that explained their love to both their peoples. "My people believe in promises made with the heart," Jake said, speaking to everyone gathered. "We believe that love is not just a feeling, but a choice we make every day. I choose Zarathus not because I have to, but because she makes me want to be the best version of myself. My people believe in bonds based on logic and compatibility," Zarathus said. "But Jake has shown me that emotions can be logical too. Love makes us stronger, braver, more generous. It gives life meaning beyond just survival." High Matriarch Aislavan watched the ceremony with great interest. She was 800 years old and had never seen a Velnari express emotion so openly. But instead of looking disapproving, she seemed fascinated. When Captain Brooks pronounced Jake and Zarathus married, something wonderful happened. The ancient ruins around them began to glow softly, as if responding to the love and hope in the air. It was as if the long-dead builders were giving their blessing to this union. The celebration that followed was amazing. Humans and Velnari shared food, music, and stories. Children from both species played together. Scientists compared notes and made new discoveries. Artists collaborated on new creations. But the real change came in the months that followed. Jake and Zarathus's marriage became a symbol of cooperation between their peoples. They traveled together, speaking to groups on both human and Velnari worlds. They showed that beings from different species could not only get along, but could love each other deeply. Their unique perspective, combining human emotion with Velnari logic, led to breakthroughs in science and diplomacy. They helped establish the first integrated colonies where humans and Velnari lived and worked together. When other alien species made contact with the galaxy, Jake and Zarathus were often chosen as ambassadors. Their marriage had proven that different species could understand each other if they tried. 5 years after their wedding, Jake and Zarathus stood on the balcony of their home on New Hope Colony. The colony was built around the ancient ruins, where they had first fallen in love. Humans and Velnari lived together there, raising children who grew up speaking both languages and understanding both cultures. "Do you ever regret it?" Jake asked, watching their neighbors work together in the gardens below. "Regret what?" Zarathus asked. "Leaving your old life behind, giving up the traditional Velnari way." Zarathus smiled and put her arms around her husband. "I didn't give up anything," she said. "I gained everything that matters, a love that makes me stronger, a purpose that gives life meaning, a family that includes both our species." "Our daughter will grow up in a very different galaxy than we did," Jake said. They looked down at the garden where their 3-year-old daughter was playing. She looked like both her parents, blue-tinged skin like her mother, but brown hair like her father. She was teaching human children how to sing Velnari songs while learning human games from them. "She'll grow up knowing that love can bridge any gap," Zarathus said. "That different doesn't mean enemy. That the universe is more beautiful when everyone contributes their unique gifts." "The ancient people in the ruins would be proud," Jake said. "I think they are," Zarathus replied. As they watched, more families came into the garden. Human families, Velnari families, and mixed families like their own. Children of all types played together while adults shared ideas and worked on projects. That combined the best of both cultures. A message came through on Jake's communicator. It was from the Galactic Council, a new organization that Jake and Zarathus had helped establish. "Ambassador Peterson," the message said, "we have been contacted by a new species called the Corthans. They are very different from anything we've encountered before. We need your help to establish first contact." Jake looked at Zarathus, and she nodded. "Tell them we'll be there," Jake replied. Another adventure was beginning, another chance to show that love and understanding could overcome any difference. That night, as they tucked their daughter into bed, she asked them a question. "Mama, Papa, why do some people say it's strange that you're married?" Jake and Zarathus looked at each other and smiled. "Because we're different species," Zarathus explained. "Some people think that means we can't understand each other." "But that's silly," their daughter said. "You understand each other perfectly." "You're right," Jake said. "We do understand each other. Not because we're the same, but because we choose to listen with our hearts." "Will I find someone to love like that?" she asked. "Someday," Zarathus said, kissing her forehead. "And when?" "You do. It won't matter what species they are, or what they look like, or where they come from. What will matter is that they make you happy, and you make them happy, and that you choose to love them every day," Jake added. After their daughter fell asleep, Jake and Zarathus sat together on their balcony looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, new species were waiting to be discovered. New relationships were waiting to be built. New love stories were waiting to be written. "Do you think other couples like us will happen?" Zarathus asked. "I hope so," Jake said. "We proved it's possible. Now others can follow our example." "What do you think the galaxy will look like in 50 years? Jake thought about it. "I think it will be full of families like ours. Children who grow up knowing that love is stronger than fear. That understanding is better than prejudice. That we're all stronger when we work together. A galaxy united by love instead of divided by difference," Zarathus said. "Exactly." They sat in comfortable silence, holding hands and watching the stars. They had started as strangers from different worlds. Now they were partners, parents, and pioneers of a new way of living. Their love story had become bigger than just two people falling in love. It had become a blueprint for the future, showing everyone in the galaxy that no difference was too great for love to overcome. And in the years to come, as more and more species joined the galactic community, Jake and Zarathus's marriage would be remembered as the moment when the universe truly became one family.